Hey everyone, my name is Gautam and I'm an Unreal Environment artist. And today I'll walk you through how to light a cinematic scene in UE5 using real-time lighting. We'll cover directional light, sky atmosphere, volumetric fog, post-process, and cinematic cameras, all using Lumen. By the end of this session, you'll be able to create mood-driven scenes like this one. So, let's get started. To begin with, let's just set up our scene. You can either use a kit bash or you can set up your own scene. I'm using one from the marketplace, Unreal Marketplace, and but you're free to use your own scene because the basics are still going to be the same. Let's just make sure that we are using Lumen for this. To do that, you can go to the Settings tab right on the top right corner and then scroll down to Project Settings. And on the left-hand side, scroll down until you see Rendering. And from Rendering section, scroll down all the way until you see Dynamic Global Illumination Method, and it should be set to Lumen by default. Since you're already here, another thing I wish to activate is use hardware ray tracing when available, and also check that our shadow map method is set to virtual shadow maps. It will ask you to restart your engine. Once you do that, uh, you should be good to go. Oops, that. So as you can see, I already have um, the scene lit up. I'm just gonna go ahead and delete all my light under my lighting tab. So I'm just gonna go select all my lights and delete, and we're gonna start lighting the scene. So before we do that, one last thing we need to do is make sure that we have activated nanites on our meshes. To do that, I'm just going to go to the unlit mode so that I can see clearly. Um, and uh, I'll just click the object. You can, by the way, I also show you how you can see the nanites are activated. So, but first, let's activate them. You click a static mesh, and under the details panel, you search for static mesh, and then we can click on the search icon, and that will navigate you to the mesh. Right click on it and go to nanites, and just either enable nanites or just check this box, and that should activate nanites on your meshes. Make sure to do that on all your meshes in your scene to see if the nanites are actually working. You can go to again this view mode and then go all the way to Nana visualization and go to triangles. Now, if you go far, you should see the triangles changing, which means that nanas are working. Now, let's go ahead and add our directional light to the scene. You can do this in a couple of ways. You can do this from the placeable actors tab on the left hand side. If you don't see this layout, don't worry. You just need to go to Windows and go to Load Layout and use the UE for classic layout. I just find it handy. So you can, oh, let's go back to lit mode first. Click on the lights and click on directional light, drag and drop. You can change direction of the light like this. Um, but another way to drop a directional light is you go to this icon here, click on lights, go to lights, and then click directional light, and it will drop a directional light. If you don't see your icon, you can use, oops, my bad, sorry, 1 second. Yeah, so if you don't see your icons, just press G on your keyboard to toggle the icons. The last way and the way I usually prefer to add a directional light is using the environment light mixer present in Unreal Engine 5. So if you go to Windows, go to environment light mixer, activate it, and then just click on create atmospheric light. and it will instantly drop you a directional light for you. I'm just gonna go ahead and change the direction of that directional light. Oh wow, direction of the directional light. And a directional light is nothing, by the way. A directional light is nothing but it acts as your sun. You can adjust the angle to simulate the time of the day. You can adjust the intensity, indirect lighting, and also the light color to suggest if it's a day or night scene. So, getting back to changing the direction of the light, you can do this by pressing E and rotating the directional light, or the way I found it easier is press Control plus L on your keyboard and keep holding those and use your mouse cursor to change the direction to something like that. There you go. I'm gonna leave it to something like that. I'll probably a bit behind. Yeah, something like that. Now, our second step is to add a skylight. You can again do this either from the Actors tab or from here. I'm just gonna use the Environment Light Mixer to help me out with that. So I'm just gonna go and click on Skylight. It's gonna give me a warning saying I need to add a sky atmosphere component, which I will um, uh, show you how to do it. So a skylight is nothing but it fills the ambient light from a sky dome. As you can see, you can either select a sky dome from here or a cube map, sorry, or you can leave it to real-time capture. I usually prefer to keep it on real-time capture all the time. It just takes in account the directional light to light up your environment. Now I'm going to add a volumetric fog. There you go. A volumetric fog is basically it catches the light shafts and gives you more depth to your scene. Just how you find in exactly how you would find in a real environment. So the last thing, what we need to do is click on our sky atmosphere. So you will instantly see the scene changing, like you can see it on the screen. It is completely foggy and very overexposed. Don't worry, I'm going to show you how to adjust these settings to the best. Let me just explain what is sky atmosphere. This gives you a real world sky simulation. The gradient, color, scattering, and sun position all react naturally. And our exponential height fog is nothing but, like I mentioned, it adds more depth to the scene. But we need to activate something else under the height fog to have those light shafts or light, volumetric scattering. Yes, I already said it. It's the volumetric fog option. You need to activate the box, and you can now see some volumetric lighting right there in your scene, helping your scene look more realistic. We are already getting there. There you go. So you can tweak the MIE settings and lay scattering to add more, um, light to your scene. Let me show you where you can activate that. You can go to your sky atmosphere and just type MIE. There you go. You have both of those settings right here. Oh, sorry, my bad. It's called absorption scale. So you can change this value, and as you can see, it is slowly lighting up your scene. This is also super helpful if you want to show an overcast scene. So let me just show you. If I increase the value here to something near 1, see what happens to the sunlight here. It is gradually fading and it is exactly looking how you would find it on an overcast day, which is cloudy. So I'm going to leave it back to how it was and just slightly tweak this value, which adds a bit light into the scene. But overall, if you see, the scene is still a bit dark. Do you know why? Well, it's mostly because we don't have enough light bouncing in the scene. Okay, now what does that mean? So when a light hits a surface, it hits the floor and it hits every object that is in the scene. So let's just say oops. Okay, so you see this? Why this is happening? Like the scene gets completely dark, and now when you move far, you slowly, gradually start getting light. This is because of the game settings, which is also known as auto exposure. If you don't know where that is, you go to lit mode and you can see under game settings, it is set to auto because once checked, it is set to auto, and if unchecked, you can set the amount manually here. But we're gonna not gonna touch that. All we're gonna do is we're gonna do this inside a post process volume. So let's just do that. To add a post process, you can go to this icon here, go to visual effects, and you can select post process volume, or you can just go to visual effects tab under placeable actors and then drag and drop a post process volume. Okay, something to note here is a post process volume would only work if your scene is inside this box. But in this case, we want our entire scene to use the post process volume. To do that, under the details panel, I'm going to type unbound and just check this box. Now it's going to use the entire level, and our post process is going to affect the entire level. So first things first, let's go to exposure and check these 3 settings and make sure you uncheck, oops, let me expand it for you, uncheck apply physical camera exposure. And now scroll down and go to min and max exposure. And you see how this is set to 1. By default, if you uncheck this, we're going to do exactly the same. We're going to put the value 1 and 1 so that now no auto exposure is affected in the scene. Doesn't matter which corner you go. So let's just adjust the exposure here. I'm going to leave this to 1.5 or so, or probably let's just put it to 4. Okay, now we have some lighting in the scene. Let's just go ahead and crank that value a bit more to something like that. Maybe a bit more. Let's just do 6. Oops. Probably that's a bit more. Let's just do 5.5. Yeah, that's a decent value. Okay. Now we have some decent lighting and light bounces in our scene. You can also further tweak the indirect lighting by going to your skybox and then going to intensity scale right here under light tab, and you can increase this. Oops, not that much. Probably let's do 1.3, and that instantly would add some indirect lighting in your scene. It's pretty much looking nice. Uh, to to see if your light is behaving the way it should, you can go to the lit mode and click on where is it? Path tracing. It will help to use all the available lights in the scene and um, using the ray trace shadows, it will instantly show you how your scene should look if it was properly lit. So this is a nice way to compare your scene under lit mode and under path tracer. I'm just gonna wait until it pre-computes lighting. Computes the lighting for us. So once it's done, I can compare it to my lit mode. So there you go. This is how it should look if my scene was properly lit. So I'm just going to go here and go to lit, and as you can see, it is pretty much doing that. But we still need some amount of light and some soft lighting to affect our scene here. You can do this by adding a reflection light, a rectangle light, sorry, and cheat the lighting a bit. It's okay to do that. So to do that, I'm just gonna go to lights and I'm gonna place my, where is it, rectangular light. There we go. And I'm gonna rotate this. Oops, I'm gonna leave the rotation snapping on so that I know the degrees I'm rotating, and if it's rotated 90. You can, by the way, also do that and just type. I'm just going to type 180 here so that it's exactly parallel. So I'm going to place this to, oops, something like that. I'm going to change the source width here. Oops, still way too close. And to wide. I'm going to try to match the shape of the window here. Something like that. As you can see, it's already too bright. I'm going to reduce the intensity here to something that's 5, or let's just say you want 2. And to avoid this hard shadows, as you can see, there is no light reflecting here on the top surface. So I'm gonna leave the rectangular light there and go to ray, and then from project settings, I'm just gonna go and enable this to have like a soft lighting. Before and after, before and after. Now you can see I have nice, I can also show and enhance few details of my scene here. I can also duplicate the light and just place it here so that before, after, before, after. There you go. I do have enough light here, so I'm pretty much happy. I'm not going to tweak that further, but I still find that I still have few dark pockets in my scene, which is fine if you want to leave it, but I might actually change the MIE settings under the light atmosphere a bit more to something like that. I'm also going to change the MIE scattering to compensate the light. Uh, Probably I should leave it to default. There you go. I'm going to place move the light a bit towards the left. Something like that. Okay, now I'm going to do the same, and as you can see, the fog is a bit more of a higher intensity. I'm going to just go and change the volumetric fog scattering. So to do that, since this is more like a Wild West, I'm just going to reduce the volumetric fog scattering um, distribution here. Use something that, and also change the fog intensity. Something like that. Okay. There you go. And last but not the least, I'm going to also test if the lights are doing what they're supposed to do under path tracer. And as you can see, the wall behind there is a bit more lit than what I have in my scene. And also there's some kind of weird um, foggy, I think, I'm not sure quite why that is. Oh, wait. I probably know it. I'm going to just change the fog density and see if that helps. There you go. That instantly helped my scene. And now I'm just going to go ahead and copy these rectangle lights. Also, this is not highly recommended if you are um, using this is not optimized lighting. This is just so that you can have some kind of lights in your scene. We can go further and optimize this scene, um, but this is just to help you have some basic lighting to enhance your scene. There you go. I'm just going to go ahead and use my path tracer again, and then turn it off, turn it back on, turn it back, oh, oops, off. That's pretty much looking decent. There you go. We have successfully lighted the scene, and I'm going to show you how to add a camera. Let's just go ahead and place all our lights in a separate folder so that just to keep things organized. Here we go. And I'm gonna just name this as lighting. Perfect. So to add a camera to a scene, you can do this in two ways. One is you can click on the cinematic and then click and drop a camera actor in the scene. You can use your arrow keys to move the camera around, and also use the rotate to rotate the camera. The view that you're viewing on the right side is basically where your camera is looking at, and as you can see, um, if I press G, I can toggle the camera in my scene. To pilot a camera, all you need to do is make sure you're selecting your camera you want to pilot, and then from perspective, go to the camera and select the camera, and now you are inside the pilot view, and now you can move around and basically place the camera where you want to place it. I'm gonna place this. I'm gonna place my camera to something like that. Another way I find much easier to compose my camera, compose my scene in this frame is go to cinematic. As you can see, I'm already under cinematic, and then from this display list of available film overlays, select your 3x3 grid. Now this helps me to frame my um, uh, help me frame my camera like to something like that. I want to keep using the golden ratio rule. I'm going to place things to something like that. I'm pretty much happy with that. Probably somewhere there. There you go. And there are quite chances where you might accidentally move the camera around. To avoid doing that, you can just right click and go to transform and then lock camera. Now, this is one of the way how you can place the camera. I'm gonna go ahead and disable the grid. The another method is the old method, which is also, which is a similar method. Sorry, just go to cinematic and go to place camera, and you would instantly, and that would instantly place the camera. There you go. Let's just place this camera somewhere showcasing the entire scene. I'm gonna go select the camera, go here, pilot, and move behind to something like that where I can. I'm gonna click G to toggle my scene just for something like that. You can also change a couple of settings under camera, which is the lens type, the lens focal length, aperture, focal distance, manual focus, automatic focus, tracking focus, a couple of things you can play around. For now, I'm gonna go and change it to a 30 mm prime lens. I'm gonna go take my camera and move a bit far or somewhere here like that. I'm gonna help activate the grid to help you frame it better. Something like that. I'm gonna again turn on the grid and set the focus using this drop tool to here so that my entire scene is under focus. I'm also gonna change my aperture from 2.5 to something 5.6, and I'm gonna right click and go transform and lock my camera. So there you go. So in this tutorial, all we covered things. Let's just do a recap, to be honest. So things we covered is directional light. We covered sky atmosphere, skylight. We also covered post-process volume, adding cinematics, using the settings from the post-process volume to enhance your scene. And we also added few rectangular lights to fake the effect of a sunlight, and to add more softer shadows and brighter shadows to our scene. So yeah, thanks for watching.